It was my first full day in Yakushima, and the only thing I had scheduled was shower climbing with a guide that I hired online. I found the guide on yesyakushima.com, but Yes Yakushima is like a third-party thing, so like I told Yes Yakushima I wanted to go shower climbing, and they just like found a guide for me, and that's basically all that happened. Like, they were like, okay, we found you a guide, and then they said, meet him at this bus stop at this time and have fun. I was like, okay, it's kind of sketchy, whatever. But, yeah, I went shower climbing with a guide. And what shower climbing is basically, it's rock climbing, but with showers. So you're basically going up creek on a river, and you're like swimming, walking through like sharp rocks and you're like climbing up giant boulders that are in the river and stuff like that, and it was extreme, and it was at least top 3 most fun things I did in Japan. I'd never even heard of shower climbing before I went to Yakushima. I guess it's an actual legitimate sport somewhere. But yeah, so I went to that bus stop. I got there about 9 a.m. and I was waiting. You know, I don't know the city I'm in, and I don't know when the next bus is going to come if something goes wrong. But eventually, the guy came exactly when he said he would, and I just see this tiny little beat up, pitiful looking brown van come and stop right in front of me, and my guide comes out and just goes, "Let's go shower climbing," and I was like, hell yeah. Hell yes, thank God it's just some guy in a van. I really thought that, because if it had been like some big touristy company, that kind of would have turned me off a little bit, I feel like. But no, it was just some guy that lived in Yakushima. So I got in his van and we went to the riverhead, and we had to wear wetsuits because of how cold the water was, and we wore helmets too. So basically for about 3 hours, he and I climbed up, and then on the way back downstream, this beautiful river. And like, it was such a, you could tell it was like a really geologically young river, because like when you picked up the sand, it was like big chunks, it was almost like gravel. And the water was so clean that you could drink it, like, and not get diarrhea. So that was fun, especially since I forgot to bring a water bottle. So I was just gulping up river water. Right, Poochie? And there were a lot of spiders, like webs just covered the entire river, just because they're like, the river was just riddled with massive boulders, and so they just made big, huge, spectacular webs in between the boulders. But they didn't bother me none, especially since I could have just, if they got on me, I could have just dived in the water and they get off. And there were parts of the river that were deep enough that I could just like jump off the boulders and like cannonball, and there were rapids that we had to like get through, and at certain points it felt like I was gonna fly back and smash my head on a rock, but I didn't, so that was good. And there was even a place that was kind of like a slide where we went down a couple times. I don't know, the way the rapids were shaped, it was kind of like a little cool slip and slide. And halfway through our trek, before we started turning back, we took a rest, and he made coffee, and we started talking, my guide and I. And I learned that he actually isn't just some dude with a van. He is a Yakushima. He does live there, but he was actually from Tokyo, and he moved to Yakushima to become like self-sufficient. And he does like a lot of environmental work and photography and stuff like that. So like, I don't know, he's a tree hugger basically, but I am too, so we hit it off. And like, I still remember the sparkle in his eyes when he asked me like what I thought it was going to take, because I told him that I was going to study the environment in graduate school, environmental science, and he asked me what I thought it was going to take for Earth to reach some kind of sustainability, and I told him it was like some goofy, I don't even remember exactly what I said because it was in Japanese, and I was confused a little bit from the trek, but I basically told him until humans reach some kind of peace, we're definitely not going to reach any kind of peace with environment. So anyway, I was stoked that my guide liked me, and I was stoked that I spoke enough Japanese that I could like have that kind of conversation with someone. And then he invited me to, I don't even know how this came into the conversation, but he was just like, hey, do you want to go plant rice with me and my family? And I was just like, oh, he likes me a lot now. But I was like, well, I don't have any plans. I was planning on just kind of like wandering around the rest of the day. So I was like, sure, let's go plant rice. So he and I went back to his house first to eat lunch, which he made himself. Like, he read a carpentry book and then built his own house, and it's like a nice house. It's not some shack. And he made it all from like trees that are native to that island. He has his own goat. He has 2 goats. He has like fruit trees, his own garden. He had a daikon, which is like the Japanese radish. It was like, I'm serious, like it was bigger than a toddler. And it was just really impressive how like he was a mountain man. He was dead serious. He doesn't even use like electricity to heat his house or his shower. He burns wood to take a bath. And I don't know, I was thoroughly impressed. And then we went to the rice field. So after I got done climbing waterfalls with my guide decided he liked me and invited me to his house. And after that, he decided to invite me to his rice field. So now I am planting rice in the middle of the mountains. Take like 1 shoot of rice and we put them in rows. You can tell where to put them by the black marks that are marked on this piece of string, which we move row by row and plant the rice. I have no idea how I got here. And while we were planting rice at the taue, it's Japanese for planting rice, they were like, hey, what should we do later? Just like in passing conversation. And then my guide Shunzo was like, hey, Matt says he bakes pizza. And then like his friend was like, oh, how about pizza party? And they all started laughing and joking. I was like, yeah, that'd be funny. And then like an hour later after we were done, they were like, okay, so how about that pizza party? And I was like, wait, are you serious? Like, I thought y'all were joking. But no, Shunzo invited me to stay the night at his house. He really liked me, apparently. We were hanging out with his family in the rice field. And yeah, so he basically volunteered me to make pizza for all of his friends at his house that night. But, you know, I'm confident in my pizza skills, so I said yes. Especially since he's giving me a place to stay for free. So he and I went to like this local onsen, this hot spring that was so hot that I felt like passing out about 10 seconds in and then got out. But I don't know, I guess it refreshed me. And then we bought the ingredients for pizza and went to his house, and I baked pizza. Like all his friends came to his house, and his family, his 2 sons and his wife, came to his house, and we just ate pizza. Oh yeah, and while we were partying and making pizza, these giant termites came out and just like bombarded the entire house. And they were like getting in the pizza and stuff, and I was trying to like pick it out before anyone saw. And it was really gross, but apparently it's super normal in Yakushima. They call it the shiroari, the white ant. And it's made people move, like leave their house before those pests. And they had a guitar and ukulele and a djembe there, so we like jammed around a campfire too. And it just, I looked back at it, like before I went to bed that night, I just thought about it and was just like, all I was gonna do today was shower climb. But then this awesome freaking dude decided he liked me, and next thing I knew, I was naked with him bathing in a onsen. Like, things got real personal real fast. We were like best friends within like hours. And I don't know, it was an amazing experience, and I really did not expect that to happen. It was the perfect thing to end my time in Japan, meeting such a nice guy. And he said once the rice grows, he's going to send me a picture via email. But yeah, that was definitely one of the best days I had in Japan and in my life. Just meeting a guy that was that nice And all of his friends were super nice too, and they were really accepting and like patient with my Japanese, and it was just, it was surreal, and it didn't feel like I was actually on Earth in a good way. But yeah, there is one more Yakushima video after this, so stay tuned. And if you haven't already, please follow me. I would love some more followers.